Okay, so making another video today, and by the way, real quick, so if you haven't already caught on, this week I tried to do something a little bit different where I record on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and I'm gonna see if that becomes sort of my video schedule. So if you're ever wondering when I'm gonna be uploading videos instead of doing every day, at least for now, I just wanna start on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. That way I don't bite more than I can chew. And if I feel like I'm doing videos all the time, it might discourage me, or maybe I run out of ideas. I have a backlog of ideas that I want to tackle at some point, but for now, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday seems to be working out great for me, so I'll probably continue that moving forward. So today I wanted to make a video about fitness, and fitness is a pretty big part of my life. And now that I'm entering a new phase of my life, that phase being my 30s, I want to talk about how my fitness has changed. So the first thing I want to say is I'm not a bodybuilder by any means. And honestly, I've never wanted to be a bodybuilder. I thought at one point that I'd want to be, I mean, who doesn't want to be really strong? But what I mean when I say I want to be a bodybuilder is that I'm in this for a very, very long time. Like in my head, when I think about my fitness journey, I'm thinking long, long term until the day I die. And I'm in no rush to make any significant amount of progress very soon, right? So I'm okay with just the process. Like I enjoy the process. I truly enjoy going to the gym. I like the days where I do really good, and I like the days that I do really bad, because obviously we all have differing levels of energy on different days. So on the days that I kick ass, I'm super happy about that. And on the days that even if I go for 10 minutes, I'm also very happy about that, because it's about getting to the gym and actually trying to do something and just getting in the habit of going, even if you don't feel like going. So because of that, I've taken a more, how do I say it? I'm not as critical on myself as I used to be. I think in my earlier 20s when I was doing working out, I was very critical. Like I needed to go all the time, and if I didn't, I really beat myself up over it. And I did get strong. Like 23 was probably like the strongest I became, which like in hindsight, it wasn't even that strong, but relative to my own strength, even today, I was probably the strongest at 23, but I'm slowly getting back up to that point, and I'm probably going to surpass it very soon. So let me just talk about some things. I'm gonna get on my computer now, and I do have some notes on the side. So if you see me looking on the side of the screen, you know why. But I want to start early on, probably around the time that I was like 15 years old. There was this program that my best friend at the time, his name's Jeffrey, he introduced me to, and it was called P90. So P90 program is what I started with, and this program was just, I don't really know. I mean, it was a program that did everything, right? So, it was called P90X. P90 is actually a gun in Call of Duty, I believe. Let me look that up real quick. Call of Duty P90. Yeah, I think we used to make jokes about how P90X sounded like P90, so we would just call it P90 for fun, because at the time, 14, 15, Call of Duty Modern Warfare was extremely popular. So, if you remember that time, then you know. Anyway, back to the working out. So, when I was doing this program, it was really cool because I had like plyometrics, upper body workouts, low body workouts. I had Kempo, which was like some sort of fighting. I had stretching, I had ab workouts, and we would do this consistently, and we challenged ourselves. And funny thing is, I remember he torrented the entire workout program, so we had it for free, and we would just talk about it, and it was a great introduction to working out. And I literally remember lifting like the 5 pounds, doing bicep curls with 5 pounds, and then finally getting to 10 pounds, and I think even like to 15 pounds. Like it was crazy. Like just getting to 10 pounds was like a huge achievement. So I started doing P90X. That was great. Did that for a couple years. And then I started going to the gym. First gym I ever went to was Shaq's 24-hour fitness, and just did the standard thing. Like would just go on bodybuilding.com. I would look up random programs and not really stick to any one program for a long time. And not because I was like consistently shocking the body, but because I just got bored. Like I would just program hop so many times, and looking back on that now, I realize that it probably wasn't the best move for me. But that's kind of what I did throughout my whole 20s. In reality, I just program hopped. I would maybe work out really hard for a couple of weeks and stop for some amount of weeks, but I always kind of had fitness in my routine. I never let myself go, so far as to stop for months, but definitely a couple of weeks, 1 or 2 weeks, and then get back on it. And what I noticed was, apart from when I was doing it at 23 years old, I never did it to the intensity that I should have to really make strength gains. Like at that age, I was still living with my mom and my parents, actually, for that matter. And I was eating really good. Like my mom was making me amazing meals, full of protein, carbs, all these great things. But I wasn't working out at the intensity that I should have been. So I think because of that, I mostly just maintained my musculature all in my 20s and up into my 30s. And now in my 30s is when I finally thought, okay, I need to change the way I work out. I need to rethink the way that I work out. And there's three major things that I want to talk about from here on out. So one of them is just overall strength that I felt, there's a way that I can scale down on strength and still make very, very good progress in my 30s. The second thing is cardio. I have never ever focused on cardio, like ever. I mean, it was, if any of you guys watch Sam Sulek, he'd be very disappointed in me because I don't do my cardio. That was then. Now I have changed it, and I'll talk about that. And finally, stretching. So for all three of those pillars, I'll talk a little bit about what I'm doing. So the first thing I want to talk about is just strength training. Okay. So 3 weeks ago, probably like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, I was doing a leg press, seated leg press, and I felt some knee pain. I was probably going way too heavy, and my knee started hurting. And that kind of just made me aware. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm tired of just finding all these like programs and just trying to lift as heavy as I can. And I wasn't even doing proper warm ups. And I said, let me scale down. Let me not worry so much about the details. Let me just do the basic fundamental movements. So what I found was, and I'm sure if you guys are in the fitness space, you guys would know knees over toes, Ben Patrick. So Ben Patrick, he has a program called Knee Ability Zero. I don't know how much he'll talk about it on his website since it's paid. I am currently paying for it. And by the way, I'm in no way, obviously I have 7 subscribers. I average like 20, 30 views. I'm in no way, Ben Patrick doesn't even know who I am. I'm not sponsored by, Ben Patrick or Knees Over Toes or the ATG system. I'm just talking about it. And these movements right here, I realized, like for my leg days, for example, starting to do lunges started to hurt. Reverse lunges were hurting. And I'm like, man, like I'm only 31 years old. Like my knees should not be hurting this bad. And I was also having lower back pain. Now I realized that, as a software engineer, I'm sitting down all day, but at the same time, I didn't feel like, oh man, my lower back has to be so bad. So I started reading what Ben Patrick was saying, and I started just implementing it. So in his Knee Ability Zero program, he's gonna have you doing a lot of these like tibialis raises. He's gonna have you doing normal calf raises. He's gonna be having you do these, I think they're called reverse step ups, which I wonder if we can find a little bit here. Exactly this exact thing right here, the reverse step up, and all these things will strengthen your knee. So now my new approach was, like the first week I was doing ATG system, I said, you know what? I'm just gonna do exactly as what's written. And the nice thing about that was on leg days, for example, I was doing reverse step ups, calf raises, the ATG split squat. The ATG split squat is amazing. You can see, let's see if we just look at an image here, something like this. But I was regressing the movement a ton. So I was standing on like a 2-foot platform to get that knee really high up, sort of like this, but even higher, because I really want to take care of my knee. I needed to just go all the way back to fundamentals and really strengthen that knee joint. And as I started doing this, I realized like the first week I just did his system and it was great. And then I said, like just this past week, only doing ATG for 2 weeks, I realized, okay, I can kind of use his movements as a warm up to my leg day. And just in 2 weeks, I can confidently say that my knee pain has dramatically subsided. I mean, I was today able to do leg extensions and lying hamstring curls with no pain at all. I haven't tried lunges and I haven't tried the leg press again, but even before, when my knee pain was peaked, doing leg extensions even on low weight was hurting. And now I'm happy to say that only in 2 weeks of doing proper warm-ups, which sounds obvious, everyone tells you to do it, but it took knee pain for me to really think, I have to really warm up. So doing things like the ATG split squat, doing things like the reverse step up that we were just looking at earlier, doing things like tibialis raises, calf raises. I used all that as my warm up. And then I said, okay, now, like one of the people on his team, his name is Mr. Infinity. I wonder if, well, that's funny. I don't even know. Yeah, Mr. Infinity Knee Ability. Sorry, this is currently available. Let's see. Mr. Infinity Knees Over Toes. Okay, so this guy right here, the whole thing about him is that he's like in his 40s and he has like the body of an 18-year-old. That's his whole thing. And the cool thing about him is before he even starts doing upper body training or any type of training, he goes through the whole ATG system. And the saying that he says is, now I've given myself the permission to be able to do these movements. So I'm now starting to adopt the same mindset. So I did the same thing in the upper body. So Ben Patrick in his program has optional upper body days. So doing things like, again, scaling back down. I started focusing more on push-ups. Like I forgot about incline dumbbell bench press or just barbell bench press or pec flies, like all very good movements. But I realized that for me, as someone that was just having pain and joint pain and wasn't warming up, I needed to scale it back down and do these foundational movements, push-ups. I started doing body weight dips, which I hadn't done in years, right? I started doing back extensions for my lower back. And the really cool thing about the lower back is, while Ben Patrick has good information on lower back, there's also this other person. Let me see if we can find him. So there's someone here, low back ability. Okay, so this person right here, low back ability, had a video pretty much showing you how to regress the back extension. And the first thing, which it's very obvious I never thought of, was just simply how to hold a low back extension. Instead of even trying to bend down and come back up, just hold it statically and let that be position one that you train from. And that's exactly what I started doing. And again, just doing that in 2 weeks, already my lower back, my entire back in general, has experienced significant gains. So that's something I'm very proud of. And again, regressing back, I started doing more pull-ups, right? I was so focused on doing these lat pull downs and seated rows as heavy weight. And I realized that none of that was doing good for me. So if you're someone like me that's struggling with joint pain, or you feel like you're lifting heavy weights and not making any progress, I would really encourage you to scale it back down and take it to foundations. Start focusing on push-ups, pull-ups, dips, the foundational movements that are going to get your body healthy to then progress to these heavier movements, right? So now, like for today, I had an upper body workout, for example. I did a lot of the ATG movements. So I did push-ups, I did pull-ups, and I said, okay, I'm going to do some bicep curls, I'm going to do some dips, nothing weighted yet, but for example, today I did 5 dips, but guess what? Last week I did 3. And it doesn't sound like much, but for me, it's great. And I'm noticing strength gains. So it's all about the process, taking your time and doing it, not worrying about how fast or, it's just, if you're in it for the long haul and you want to make this lifestyle, it's going to take time, but I promise you it's worth it. Like, just get used to, just enjoy the process is all I got to say. So I think that piece right now is what I'm focusing on. I'm going to continue doing the same thing. My split right now is sort of like it on his lower back routine. So I guess I can just get like a notepad here. So his low back routine you'll have like a low body day, an optional upper. You'll have another low, optional upper, and then another low. So what I'm thinking about doing is, first of all, these are not optional for me. I'm just removing the optional piece. I'm going to be doing like my A workout is 3 lows and 2 uppers. And then for example, next week, like tomorrow, I'm going to finish off my A workout, let's say. So I'll label this A. And then tomorrow, right? Or rather next week, I'm going to start my B workout. And for me, I want that to be upper, lower, upper, lower, upper, right? So now I alternate. I have some weeks where I have more emphasis on low, less emphasis on upper, and some weeks where I have more emphasis on upper and less emphasis on lower. So I think for me, that's going to balance out really nicely. I'm just taking my time, I'm enjoying the process, and slowly but surely I will see strength gains, as will you if you're in the same position. So I hope that at least starting with fitness, I've been able to give you some resources of things that you can look into and perhaps, see about increasing your own fitness. Okay, so that's about strength training. Now let's move into stretching, okay? So stretching, pretty simple. I found a video, let me see, I think it's Growing Nana's 30-minute mobility. Okay, this video right here, I have a colleague at work that swears by Growing Nana's, and he, during COVID, he watched a lot of her videos, and just doing her videos was able to develop a good physique. And I finally found, I feel like if I go online and try to find a lot of different, I don't know what this is. Okay. If I try to find, a variety of different stretching videos, they're all going to be like too complex or just way too long. Just a lot of different things that I don't really care about. And this one for me has been the best. I don't want to play too much of it because I don't know if that's even allowed. But she goes through so many fundamental movements. And I don't do, like the first time that I was starting to do stretching videos, I was doing all 30 minutes, but then slowly, some days I do 30, some days I do 10, some days I do 15. Again, I'm not being super critical of myself trying to do the whole 30, but I pick the movements that are most important to me. For example, if I did a lower back day, I'll look at the stretches that she does for lower body. If I had, not a lower back day, a lower body day, I'll do lower body stretching. Similarly, if it's an upper body day, I'll focus more on her upper body stretches. But this video in and of itself, which I'll link to in the description, hopefully, because frankly, I don't even know if I've like verified. I have to send YouTube like a picture of my ID to be able to put links. So I'll see if I can do it. But if not, look up growing nanas or growing bananas and look up this video. Just look up growing nanas 30-minute mobility and you'll find this video. And I promise if you're wanting to improve your mobility and your flexibility, this is a fantastic video. And this also has reduced pain. It just made me feel more open, and especially for people that are sitting down all day. This is a standing desk. I also have a standing desk at work, but it doesn't mean that I'm standing all day. I'm still sitting and I try to alternate, but some days I sit more than I stand. Some days I stand more than I sit, but those tight hip flexors, they really get to you and it's going to affect your lower back and really everything, right? So watch these videos. These are awesome videos. I think you'll enjoy it if you're looking to increase your mobility and flexibility. And again, Growing Bananas doesn't even know who I am, not sponsored by this in any way. I'm just suggesting things to you that work for me. And finally, we can move on to cardio, which I don't have a video or any tabs. I just want to tell you what I did. For me, I do like the treadmill, but if I'm trying to do best bang for my buck, I guess, okay, what we can look up is two things. VO2 max, there's VO2 max and zone 2 cardio, right? So calculate VO2 max for me. Or maybe let's do calculate zone 2. Calculate hard to simple heart rate training zone calculator. Let's see, so I'm 31 years old. So zone 2 heart rate beats per minute. Okay, 140 to 152. So I went on a website like this. By the way, if you want to learn more about this zone 2 training, there's someone really, really great for this. So Peter Attia zone 2. Peter Attia is an MD, a medical doctor, and he has very, very good videos on zone 2 exercise, VO2 max. And if you watch Peter Attia, you're probably in the same circle as like Chris Williamson, Joe Rogan, Peter Attia, Andrew Huberman, all these different people. So I definitely suggest checking his videos out and learning more about VO2 max, zone 2 exercise, and then coming to a video like this, not a video, a calculator like this, and seeing what your zone 2 is and doing that, right? So I guess point of the story is zone 2 cardio is where you want to be and you want to do it for a long period of time. Right now, I'll get lucky if I get to 20 minutes a day. I think Peter almost suggests like an hour a day, maybe at least half an hour a day. The American Heart Association, I believe, is 150 minutes a week of aerobic exercise. So if you can do 30 minutes 5 times a week, then at this heart rate, then you're going to be good. And for me, the best bang from the buck is the stair machine, because only doing that for like 20 minutes, I'm burning, if I do 20 minutes at a good speed, like 7 or 8, I'm burning, I don't know, like 250 plus calories. I'm sweating a ton. I'm easily able to maintain this. And it's challenging and it's just very low impact, more so than I think any other machine. But obviously, do the thing that you like and that you enjoy and you can stay consistent with. People sometimes are so, how do I say it? They're so, min-max. They want to find the perfect program, the perfect machine. Just do what you like, because the best thing is the thing that you're going to stay consistent with. It doesn't have to be what someone online says is the best thing. It's what you like at the end of the day. So again, you do a calculator like this, you put your age, it's going to give you the heart rate zone for zone 2, and then you're just going to go ahead and do that. So that's one thing. And then VO2 max, I don't know if there's like a VO2 max calculator. So let's do VO2 max calculator. Let's see, aerobic capacity, resting heart rate, VO2 max. Okay, resting heart rate, age. I think my resting heart rate's like 60. Okay, well, I'm not sure what the VO2 max here means. I'm not sure what that number means, but VO2 max is also a great data point for you. And if you can do, I think it's like 1 or 2 trainings a week of VO2 max training, I believe. Again, watch the Peter Attia videos. He's going to be able to tell you, explain it way better than I can. But frankly, I'm not sure what this unit means here. How can I achieve that? I think what we need to do is use a bike like, what's the name of the bike? There's a specific bike that I'm thinking of. I forgot the name of it. But use that bike, and I think the power output is what you're looking for to be able to look at your VO2 max. So that's what I've been doing for cardio. And let me tell you, I wonder, like I was thinking on Twitter, I made a post the other day. I was like, oh, if you've never done cardio and you start doing cardio, do you experience the same newbie gains that you would if you're doing strength? Because in like 2 weeks, my cardio got significantly better. Like 3 weeks ago, I got on the stairs and I couldn't do 8 minutes of level 7. Now I can easily do like 20-25 minutes of level 7 on a good day. Some days I'm just lazy, I don't want to, but if I push myself, I definitely can. And I know that it's different from when I first started where I physically couldn't. I was just exhausted. Whereas now it's more of like, well, do I want to? Do I want to spend the time? But again, I'm not being critical of myself. I'm just allowing myself to do what I feel like on that day. So I experienced these new gains, I think. And again, these are the three pillars that I'm focusing on, right? We talked about fitness with strength, with knees over toes, scaling down my weights, really focusing on the fundamentals, moved into stretching with growing bananas, and now we're talking about cardio. So these things are things I'm going to be focused on now that I'm in my 30s and probably for the rest of my life because I want to be good in all of them. Like I don't care to be, Chris Bumstead or Sam Sulek and be super strong and then be like very tight. I just want to be functionally strong. I want to be strong for me and I want to look good. I want to feel good. And that's really what's most important. So that was the bulk of the video. I think some other things I want to talk about. These are two random things, but are things that I do to help me just stay active throughout the day. So walking is very important. If you can find opportunities to walk for free, what do I mean by that? For example, if you go to the grocery store, purposely park far because now it's free exercise. You just have to walk far. If you're going to walk back to your car, you got groceries, leave the car unless you have a ton. But if you have a good amount of groceries, leave the car in the grocery store, hold the bags in each one of your hand and walk to your car all that distance. And even if it's a smallish distance, like it's going to still be far from the store, but it might not be, relative to miles long. But you do that over and over again every time I go to the grocery store. I don't know about you, but I go to the grocery store like 5 times a week. It will compound over time, right? Or a lot of times if I go to Target, like the Publix that I live near is a small parking lot, so I can't park that far, but Target has a massive parking lot. So when I go to Target or when I go to the gym, I park all the way in the back. So I literally have to force myself to walk all the way. And it's kind of like a nice warm up. And I'm going to burn a couple calories. And just that over long periods of time is going to help a lot. Here's something else that's super obvious. Take the stairs when you can. In my office, I sit on floor 5 and I just take the stairs all the time. Like for anything I need to do, anytime I need to go down, I take the stairs. And anytime I need to go back up, I take the stairs. So little simple things like this. Taking the stairs, it takes me 2 minutes to get to the 5th floor. Maybe 2-3 minutes, right? You do that over years and it will make a difference. And I promise you, you will feel better, like period. There's no way that you can do these things and not feel better. So I don't know if this falls under the same category as NEAT, which I forgot the acronym for it, what it stands for, but if we do like NEAT thermogenesis, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. I wish there was like here we go. So non-exercise activity thermogenesis is the energy expended for everything we do that is not sleeping, eating, or sports-like. Ranges from the energy expended, here we go, walking to work, typing, performing yard work, undertaking agricultural tasks, and fidgeting. So a lot of these things are things that are going to help you stay in shape, right? Look what it says here. NEAT could be a critical component in how we maintain our body weight and or develop obesity or lose weight. So little things like this, it's free exercise. Just try to incorporate them into my day, right? So if you, instead of having to dedicate half an hour after work to walk, because that might seem more burdensome, right? Imagine you go 9 to 5, you come back home and now you're like, oh my God, now I got to walk 30 minutes. Maybe you're tired. You want to go and read a book or you want to just take a shower and watch TV. But maybe at work you say, you know what? There's that nice walking path outside. Maybe at 3 different points throughout the day, I'll go outside and take a 10-minute walk. And guess what? By the end of the day, I've done 30 minutes and I've done it within my 9 to 5. So now I've incorporated something new into my workday and I don't have to do anything extra when I get home. So finding ways to incorporate small goals throughout the day, you're going to feel good because you're accomplishing something. Physically, you're going to feel good. You're going to be able to regulate your sugar and your weight, and you're going to clear your mind. And it's just going to be, it's an all-around win. So little things like this, again, park far, take the stairs. I'm trying to think of other random things I do. Invest in a standing desk if you don't have one. Alternate between sitting and standing. Is there anything else I do? I think those are the easiest ones to start off with. But of course, there's probably many more that I'm not considering. But yeah, anyway, that's the video for today. I wanted to start off, or I want to talk about how now in my 30s, things are a little different. Back then, it was very just strength focused, but now it's strength, cardio, and mobility, stretching focused. And also we have these little moments throughout the day where we can incorporate fitness. So if you like the video, you like watching things like this, so far, you can tell I don't really have a niche. These are just things I'm interested in. So if you want to hear more of the stuff I'm interested in, leave me a comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. I can't wait to engage with you all. If you're starting your own fitness journey, let me know. Any questions you have or things you want to just ask me about, I'd be more than happy to answer them. So with that being said, hope you guys have a great weekend. And tomorrow I'm going to see this awesome movie called Dee Dee, which I've been waiting for a while. It's called Dee Dee Movie. It's a coming of age movie. I'm gonna watch it tomorrow. I already bought my tickets, and I'm probably gonna make a video about the movie once I'm done watching it. So I might actually make that this weekend. So stay tuned for that one. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Later.